everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having a beautiful, inspired and creative day. I'm so grateful to have you here, and if you could click that subscribe button, it would mean a lot to me. In today's video, I wanted to talk about imposter syndrome and how I deal with it and how I ease it and how I cure it in the real time. Now, I don't really know if you can cure the imposter syndrome in full, but what you can do, you can definitely progress with it, and you can sort of like utilize different tools and techniques to help you become more aware of it and kind of like ease your way with it and just kind of learn to live with it in the best possible way. Now, I wanted to start with a definition of an imposter syndrome, and I'm gonna actually read it out to you because I looked it up online. Obviously, I haven't studied imposter syndrome. I've just literally lived it, and I live it pretty much a lot of the time, and recently not as much because I feel like I have stepped into my self-worthiness and power a lot more than before, but it does creep up on me sometimes, and it did a few days ago, so it gave me an idea for this video and I wanted to share with you. Imposter syndrome, IS, refers to an internal experience of believing that you are not as competent as others perceive you to be. While this definition is usually narrowly applied to intelligence and achievement, it has links to perfectionism and social context. Now, for me, obviously, because my job is on the internet and like I've been putting myself out there for about 5 years, maybe a little bit longer, and like in the beginning I didn't really care because I didn't really have a understanding that this will become my lifestyle or my full-time job or like something that pays my bills or actually gives me a really good life, and I didn't really care about it. I was mostly concerned about what content do I want to put out there, what do I talk about, and what value do I bring to the world, and that was like my main concern. As my blog started to grow and as I sort of started receiving invites to different events and press trips and brand collaborations, and as this sort of money started rolling in, my imposter syndrome grew and grew and grew to the point where I legit had to stop, move to Bali, and like kind of give up on this career that I've built for myself for the last 4 years. I didn't really fully give up on it. I just kind of put a pause on it, and I'm so grateful that I was able to come back to London after almost 2 years in Bali and pick up exactly where I left it off, but with a more kind of growth focused mindset and more kind of like stronger self-worth around this. So my imposter syndrome is not as strong as it used to be. Now, this journey for me has lasted for about 5-6 years at least, if not longer, where I kind of went from really feeling like low and depressed around it, thinking like, oh, why do people follow me? This must be a mistake. Why is this brand wanting to work with me? They probably added a zero by mistake in their sort of like pay offer. They're sure they want to work with me. And even up to this day, like every time I get a collaboration or where I get like inquiry to create content for somebody or promote a brand on my channels, I'm still like, oh my god, I'm not gonna perform good enough, like I'm not good enough. But luckily I have come to a place where I'm able to utilize different tools and techniques that allow me to sort of ease the voice in my head and turn it into a more positive rather than self-destructing experience. Now, there was a situation back in 2018 when somebody published an article about me and a bunch of other content creators from London calling us fake and sort of like saying that we faked this whole job and a career and the community things, and that really impacted my self-worth, and it really gave me like crazy depression, and like it just put me off, to be honest. I didn't really want to be part of the community, and the people that I was surrounding myself at the time were just like really focused on the numbers. There was not really like real caring and friendship there. So for me at that time, I was just like really like disconnected from the whole job that I had, and that was actually to create content that adds value. I turned into more of like somebody who was just creating content for the sake of it, and I was creating nice content, and I was traveling for like almost full-time for like good 2 years, where I just kept on going places and staying away and not having a full routine. So as you can imagine, this like lack of routine really played with my mental health. And I came to the place where I was just like, fuck this, I don't really care about this job, I don't really care about like to have relationships in place that are not really positive for my mental health, and I don't even care about making this money. So I legit booked a one-way ticket and moved to Bali, and I was like, I'm gonna go to Bali and write a book, and I'm gonna go to Bali and start a brand and all that stuff. And obviously I did, but then as you imagine, my imposter syndrome was like raging back in the day. But then as soon as I sort of moved to Bali, things started like coming up one after another. And I was so grateful to the island of Bali, because it's such like, the energy of Bali is like such a healing energy, and everybody that lives in Bali is sort of like doing one form of healing, whether they're aware of it or not. So I was sort of able to meet a lot of locals that helped me understand like how energy works, and how to sort of like understand my own energy and how my energy manifests in the real life. So I sort of like came to a realization, well, the root cause of my imposter syndrome is actually my thoughts and my belief systems, or like my limited beliefs around my self-worthiness. And I feel like the deeper you dig, or the more deep dives you do with your shadow work or your healing in your journals, or however you do it, you may find that a lot of things stem or revolve around self-worthiness. And this usually kind of like starts from an experience in your childhood, where an event or a situation has occurred that has sort of like made you believe that you're not worthy and that you're not good enough, which with the time you kind of forgot about, you suppressed it somewhere deep in your subconscious. But then it kind of manifests itself in a form of a imposter syndrome, i.e. your little voice in your head telling you, you're not good enough, why are you taking that, you're not worth that job. Like if you're listening to the voice in your head, you need to understand that that is not you, that is just part of you that is legit wanting to be healed. That's the part of you that's just like showing you which sides of you still need a little bit more care, need a little bit more love, need a little bit more healing, need a little bit more tending to. This is how I deal with imposter syndrome. Number one is, let's take a inventory of your feelings. How are you feeling when those questions start coming up in your head? Questions around not worthiness, and write it down and say, I am feeling sad right now, and then say because. You should say, ask yourself, why am I feeling sad? Amazing opportunity just came to me, but I feel like I'm not worthy of it. And then you can sort of like put it down, and then just say like, why do you think you're not worthy of it? And then just start writing, and just keep on asking yourself, questions. Why do you think that's the case? Why do you think that that's the case? Why do you think that's it? Why do you feel like that? Why do you feel like that? And then you're gonna come to a place of understanding what is the root experience or situation in your life that brought you to this limiting belief. Because trust me, the universe would not bring you the things in your life if you weren't worthy of them. Like, I've been there a million fucking times. You would not be experiencing things or situations in your life if you weren't ready to receive them. And sometimes they come to you and you receive them, but then you like backtrack because you're like, oh my god, I can't handle this, I'm not ready to feel full joy, I'm not ready to feel love, I'm not ready to feel high vibe because I'm not worthy. And I was like, you have to come to a understanding as to why aren't you fucking worthy? Why do you think you're not worthy? Just like ask yourself, why aren't you worthy of that person? Why aren't you worthy of that job? Why aren't you worthy of that money? Why aren't you worthy of that company? Like, if that person came to you, there is a reason for it. So you shouldn't ever think that that's by mistake, because it's not. And sometimes when we reject these people, money, situations, jobs, or whatever it is, the imposter syndrome kicks in around. is because we are scared of living in joy. We're scared of having that taken away from us, and then we go back into the like lower vibrational feelings, and then we create like this sort of like false security net around us, and we don't even realize that we live in a lower vibration because we rejected positive vibration. So it's way deeper than that. But honestly, the simplest way to go through this is to write it down and then say, I really love doing this, and this is like I've learned through Gala Darling, who I love. She's a tapping queen, so I'm gonna put some of her videos in the below that really helped me with my imposter syndrome. But I also like to journal, so I would say, even though once I've identified, so you first identify the sort of like source or the core feelings or the core thoughts that kind of bring you to understanding that you're not worthy of something, or you're not competent enough, or you're not, like something happened to you by mistake, or you're there by mistake. Identify as to why do you feel like that. Once you do, then you can say, even though I feel like I've done this once and I haven't performed as well as I thought I did, or as well as somebody set an expectation for me to perform. You don't really know what that person went on that specific day, so do you want to take that as, you know, like your go-to forever, like as your benchmark of your worthiness forever, or you're just gonna maybe like take it as a that in the moments that like in the moment something happened to you in that specific moment, that doesn't mean that it should stay with you for the rest of your life. The quicker you let go of that belief, that thought, that situation, the sooner you live your better life. Really, trust me, it's that simple. Do not go to that person and try to like make sense of it. Just identify and then say, even though that situation brought me to think that I'm not good enough to perform in this specific area of my life, I choose to disagree. Since then, I have performed, and then list all the good things that you've done since that time that situation happened to you. If it's a breakup, if it's a redundancy, if it's a loss of somebody, you can sort of like list all the instances in your life that you have overcome something around it and you have achieved something better, or if somebody has been kind to you, really change that story for you. And you have to do it one thought at a time. And now I know it seems like crazy too hard, but trust me, it's not. Because the easiest way to sort of like heal or change the limiting belief and all the stories connected to like your pattern, you have to come to the core of it and identify the first instance as to like why that started happening to you in the first place. Start working backwards, but I wouldn't sort of like suggest dwelling on it too much, because what you sort of give attention to you grows in momentum, and then law of attraction will bring you more of that. Changing your own mind, because trust me, nobody else thinks you're not worth it, because people would not be in your life if you were not. It just always comes from you. So write a list of all the different things that make you feel good about that situation, and all the positive things that you have accomplished since that specific time that fucking annoying thing happened to you. And then just say, well, yeah, oh my god, you're right, I had that time achieved this and this and that. Oh yeah, I have sold 5 dresses for that brand when I promoted them. I had 50,000 people, you know, like visit my blog this month, or like 50,000 impressions, or like whatever it is. There's so many things in your life to be grateful for and to be positive, and start listing them. And then from there, each morning, grab your pen and paper first thing in the morning when you have your coffee, and just write them things you're grateful for. Like honestly, just start your day on a good note from the outset. Choose feeling good over negativity, and one thought at a time. And then slowly, it's not going to happen overnight, because if you are negative energy, law of attraction will be serving you more negative experiences. But this, like, the more you start bringing your attention to the positives in your life and the good things that are happening to you, then all of a sudden your mindset will shift, your perspective will shift, and then you will be receiving more of that. So just stop going around things that are not working in your life and focus on things that are. So for example, for me right now, because I've disconnected from my Instagram and from my influencer business for the last 2 years, as I was working on my brand, and I was telling myself, I don't want to be an influencer anymore. I was just always telling myself all these things like, oh, I don't like this job anymore. It was actually just my ego firing up and telling me like, oh, I will never be able to get back into it. I was not worthy to start with. They think I'm a fake and all that shit. So I was like, actually, I go back to London and I was like, oh my God, I actually love my life when I was an influencer. Why would I not want to do that again? Why would I not want to have a community that I can, bring my lessons to, or things that I've learned that can help them? Like, why wouldn't I want that for myself? So I started slowly building up and being more consistent and posting more, and things are going up for me. And they're not sort of going in a sense of like where I'm all of a sudden making 12,000 a month or 15,000 a month, where I used to, I'm making like maybe 1.5, 2,000 a month for my influencer business. And honestly, that's good enough for me because I can pay my bills and I can buy my food and I can treat myself to something nice. And my numbers are growing, by 30% every single day. And I'm not thinking like, oh, that post didn't go viral, I'm not good enough. I'm thinking like, oh yeah, this is great. I've just grown by 30% since yesterday. Oh my gosh, I must be doing something right. What have I done? Shall I do more of that? Or what caption shall I write to help somebody? So I kind of switch into more value add mindset versus I'm not fucking good enough. That post is shit. Nobody's gonna like me. Like, just stop, please. Honestly, I stopped and things have changed for me. And of course, things creep up, but because I know my little list and I'm like my little tools. Oh, you're like that voice in my head is like familiar. What do you want? Why are you here? What do you want? Why are you here? What are you trying to teach me? And then you just watch it quiet down and it goes like, oh yeah, you have gone stronger, haven't you? You do have a lot of free blessings in your life. I mean, like, my life is great. Why would I be complaining about anything? There's nothing to complain about. And even if there is, I just have to be like, that person that's maybe bringing me negative energy, maybe they're not having the best day. Maybe they're going through something. Like, I come from a place of compassion for them, and just like, that energy doesn't serve me today. I don't want to engage. I don't want to surround myself with that energy unless it's a good, positive vibe. I don't want it for me. And that's nothing to do with myself. It's like just their own things, their own stories, and that doesn't have anything to do with my value or my worth. So somebody's expectation of you is none of your fucking business. Understand that, live it, that, make it your mantra. Somebody's expectation of you is not of your business. So the quicker you wrap your head around that, the sooner you will, mind your own business and just focus on your growth and all the blessings that you have in your life. And I promise you, if you sit down and just write this page of the blessings in your life that you have, you would be, and then sit down and go through and read them, you'll be surprised. Just like think about your home, the food you eat, the friends you have, the freaking phone. Like, we have so much. Look at the children of Afghanistan. We're so like blessed and grateful. Like, we have so much, guys. So start changing those stories and just watch your life shift. I promise you, I've done it many times, and I'm doing it again, and I fucking love it. It just brings me so much joy, and money comes with it as well, and great people come with it, and whatever wants to leave, I'm like here for it. I open the door and I say thank you so much for the lessons and experiences. I've done my best for you. But if that's ain't good enough for you, that ain't my business, honey. Ain't my business. So just say close the door. I locked it. Okay. Throw away the key. That's honestly how I live my life. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's 12 minutes. Okay, it's a bit chatty, but I really think you guys taking a little inventory of your mind and checking in with yourself, like, will make you grow so much quicker than you expect. And just every morning, make a little coffee or tea or matcha latte, whatever you drink, green juice, and write it down. 10 things that you're grateful for. Just write it down. Honestly, ain't that fucking hard. Take your pen, take your paper. There's an abundance of these things around you. And even if you don't have a paper, take your phone, go into notes and say, I'm so grateful for this drink I'm drinking this morning, for the warmth of my house, for the person that brought me this coffee to my table, this stove that I can make my coffee on, the plants I'm looking at. There's so much in this world to be grateful. Anyways, I love you all, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.